This is Jody Denberg, and this is KUTX at home with John Doe, who in 1977 became the co-founder and one of the principal songwriters of the legendary rock band X. And today, on this very day, X is releasing its first studio album in 37 years called ALPHABETLAND, and it stands with their best work, and that's quite a statement because they've given us some of the best albums in rock and roll. John, good to see you, man.
Same here, Jody. Glad you're at home.
Glad you're at home. And home for you has been Austin for what, 3 years now or something?
It's been a little over 3 years, yeah.
How long have you been quarantining here at home in Austin?
March 13th, 14th, March 14th.
You have a better grasp on that than me as far as the dates go.
The reason I did is because I left Los Angeles after mixing the record on March 14th. I was going to stay later. The last day we actually worked was the 13th, and I changed my flight to the 14th. I was going to stay until like the 18th or something like that. But yeah, so it's been a little over a month.
And you're at home with your partner, Chrissy. You have kiddos though, right?
My kids are in the Bay Area. They're all grown up. Yeah, they're 27 to 31.
I hope they're all doing well.
They're doing great. You know, unfortunately they followed in their dad's footsteps, and they work in the movie business, commercials, event planning, and choreographing dance performances. So they all work with a bunch of people in close quarters. So we're all out of work, you know, but that's cool. You know, they've got some savings, and me too. So we're incredibly fortunate. I mean, God, we got a roof over our head. We got food that we can get. People will deliver cookies and donuts. So.
No, I hear you. I feel equally blessed and excited to talk to you today because really, what an amazing day. The new X album is called ALPHABETLAND. I think it's the band's 8th studio album, if I counted correctly, and the first in 37 years. So, you know the question's coming. Why so long in between studio records?
Just we were having so much fun just touring. I can't give a good answer for that, except that after you've made a bunch of records, you don't just sort of make songs to just sit there and do nothing. So Exene and I weren't as motivated to write together. I took some of her lyrics and made songs for solo records. I covered one of her songs on my last record, solo record. But there's no motivation there. You're gonna like work on this song, and then it's gonna go nowhere. It's just gonna sit in. You know, it's like I totally get it. Art for art's sake. That's you know the purest, best way of making a song. But if you got no place to put it, and we had a hard time finding a producer, engineer, record company, a studio to work in. That, you know, Billy's very particular about how he records and what is music and what isn't music. And I'm glad that he has that, because he keeps us, you know, from wandering too far and getting all, you know, spacey and weird or whatever. So we got those things. You know, it was in 2019. We started recording with Rob Schnaff, and he worked with Elliott Smith and Beck and most recently with Cat Power. And so, yeah, it just fit. And we did 5 songs in 2019, and then we finished it up with 6 more in 2020. Yeah.
The album is called ALPHABETLAND. I love it. It sounds like classic X, but it sounds like 2020. Is it daunting though when you go in? I mean, this band has made classic records like Los Angeles and Wild Gift and Under the Big Black Sun, More Fun in the New World. So is it daunting to go in there? You're almost competing with yourself?
Yes. Yes, it is. You just got to stay out of your own head. You got to get out of your own way, you know, and that's the key to making any kind of a good record, is to be intuitive. If you're mentally, you know, we don't have, it's a pretty lean and mean record. There's not a lot of, you know, fluff and fills and all that kind of stuff. And that's because we don't have grand plans. We don't make rock operas. We just make punk rock records. And so it's daunting, but you got to just get out of your own head.
An X single came out at the end of last year of two of the songs from the album, Delta 88 Nightmare, which was a re-recorded song originally done in the Los Angeles sessions. Cool video, by the way. Yeah. And Cyrano de Berger's Back, which you originally did in 1987. The other songs on the album, are they of new vintage?
There's one other called I Got a Fever that was old. And I rewrote most of the lyrics to that because it originally was called I Got a Heater, and it was a kind of a tribute to film noir. LA film noir, who doesn't love that? And I was a big fan, still am a big fan of that kind of writing and film. So I changed it into I Got a Fever, and then now we're in a pandemic, so it's like, ooh, it's a little close there. But the rest of them, ALPHABETLAND and Water and Wine and Star Chambered, a lot of them were started with Exine's lyrics, and I, massaged them into songs, and then some but we all contributed. So we're all credited as songwriters, Billy and DJ and Exine and me.
That's really a first for the band.
It is, and it's kind of a gesture of gratitude, sharing, and things like that, but also to recognize that they contribute so much to the way it sounds and what it actually becomes.
Talking about this is killing me. You've got a stereo behind you.
I do.
I mean, it would be silly for us to play one of these songs acoustically. We need to hear one of the new X songs. If you can do that technically, let's try to do it.
Cross your fingers, Jody. Here we go.
Which one are you going to play?
This is the title track, ALPHABETLAND. It's a bit of a redemption song.
That was such a punk rock moment, hearing the title track to X's new album, Alphabetland, all over a laptop. John, that reminded me of growing up when I take a transistor radio and put it under my pillow and wait to hear the new music, and it would have that sound. The album is out now. You who are hearing John and I can download the record, can hear it in high fidelity. But that was a fun moment and just a classic X song. Congratulations to you and the band.
Thank you. I know I was supposed to talk over the thing and point out different parts, but I forgot. But I did give you the cover, which was painted by an artist named Wayne White. He's pretty well known, and he does that same thing where he takes an old painting that's very kind of prosaic and bucolic, and then he puts big letters over them. Sometimes it has bad words and things like that, but yeah, Wayne's a friend of Exine's, and then when we decided on the title, it just came into my mind that he would be the perfect person to do it. And the very end of that, it's funny, the very end of it, Billy plays a guitar part that was part of the song when we were going between two chords a lot faster. We couldn't fit the words in, so we made them each chord twice as long. But then I was playing that's a chorus part, and then I was playing a verse. The verse changes on bass underneath of that, and somehow the clash sounded really good. We ended up slowing the chorus down and still did that part, so it becomes really chaotic at the end. There's like people playing two parts of the same song at the same time.
People always refer to X as a punk band. I refer to X as a rock and roll band for me. And I was listening back to a guest DJ stint that you did on my KUTX. And yeah, you chose some punk rock favorites, but there was blues and R&B and folky stuff. And of course, Billy's fondness for rockabilly is no secret, and Exine's fondness for words. Do you think people miss the eclecticism under the surface of the band X?
Sure. I mean, at the point we first came out, being a punk rock band was kind of a line in the sand to say this is now and that was then. And we didn't want to be new wave because that was, that's what you said, so you didn't get kicked out of the party. You could still get cocaine. If you said you were punk rock, then it was like out, But if you said you were new wave, then it's like, oh, they're not so dangerous. So it's, at the beginning it was a kind of a badge of honor, but then the industry and, radio stations, it became like a ghetto you got put into. Oh, we can't play that because it's punk rock, But yeah, we always felt we were just a rock and roll band.
There's a song at the end of Alphabetland, All the Time in the World. I guess for lack of a better phrase, it's a beat poetry piece.
Yeah, it's one of Exine's poems, and we just kind of did it at the very end of the session and just said, what the hell, let's give this, while we were doing other overdubs and vocals and cleaning up stuff, and I loved it. I tried playing bass underneath of it, didn't really work, and then Billy played piano and Robbie Krieger laid on some spacey guitar stuff, and it's incredibly timely and sort of prophetic, which doesn't surprise me with Exine.
But the song we're referring to is the final song on the new X album, All the Time in the World. I try to think of another band that has the female, male, yin yang at the front. And except for the Jefferson Airplane, no other band comes to my mind. Am I missing another band that sort of approximates that thing?
Not that I know of.
And that's what makes X just so singular and wonderful. The album is out on Fat Possom Records. Did they reissue, or are they going to reissue the first 4 albums, Fat Possom?
They did. They reissued those last year and the year before, and then they were the ones that encouraged us to just put it out on Bandcamp, and you can buy it. It's $10, and then physical copies. That Fat Possum actually encouraged us to do this crazy idea, because they said we don't want to wait originally it was going to come out in September, and then with LP pressing plants being down, printers being, out of work, they're not printing, CD jackets or LP jackets. So they said, let's just do it. It'll be punk rock. So it made a lot of sense.
You're one of the people behind Austin's Long Play Lounge out on West St. John's, where vinyl was spun all day. And
Yeah.
First of all, I'm sorry. I'm sure this is a difficult time to be a owner of a lounge.
Oh, I'm just a part investor. It's Will Tanner, who owns Hole in the Wall right across the street from the campus. And yeah, I just came in as the cultural advisor and make sure that they didn't get like big screen TVs and play sports and shit like that.
Well, thank you. And now
we did take care of our employees before the unemployment started. For the month or so lag, we made sure that they got 3/4 of their pay and made sure that everybody was cool and being safe, because we closed right in the middle of March. We've been closed but it's the other people, the other bar owners and restaurant owners that my heart really goes out to. So if you can order out and go pick it up, still be safe and get it all clean before you bring it in your house. But, however you can support small businesses, Waterloo Records, Book People, KUTX, please support them, because, in that way we are all in this together. Not so much the celebrities in their mansions and stuff.
No, I hear you. People are always asking me, so are you being productive when you're in quarantine? And I haven't felt moved to be doing things other than these kind of conversations, which are fun. What about you? Are you moved to write? Obviously you were involved in a couple of books over the last few years. How are you spending your time?
I'm just beginning to do a little creative stuff. Yeah. I reworked a song that Exene and Shirley Manson and some of the guys from Garbage did. I reworked that into a more folky version that I can play on acoustic guitar. And I think I'm going to get together with Kevin Smith on his patio, the bass player, maybe on Thursday. And it takes a while. I think it wasn't until maybe 3 weeks before I thought, I'm feeling a little bit of an urge to kind of do something that'll be lasting. But yeah, a bit,
Well, speaking of doing things that are going to be lasting, as a fan of the band X, this album, ALPHABETLAND, which is out today, and it just blows my mind. First studio album in 37 years, is a lasting piece of work. It stands with X's best work. And I'm sure it's a little bit frustrating that you can't get out there right now and start playing the record for people on stages, but hopefully all of that will come to be in the near future.
Yes, we have some plans in August and September. And, fingers crossed that people stay inside until June, July, whenever the doctors, epidemiologists and people like that say it's safer. But it's going to be different for sure. It's going to be different. I don't know what it's going to be like, but we'll have to see.
Well, it's good to spend some time with you, John Doe, KUTX at Home, X's first album in 37 years of new studio material out today, ALPHABETLAND. I wish the best to you and Chrissy and your family. And as soon as we can be together, let's be together, John.
That's a plan, Jody. I'll be there.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Take care, my friend. John Doe, KUTX at Home.
See y'all later.